Mangwana ni Malelepo Fukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show which remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. Today we'll be joined by Rorisang Mogojwe as she delivers the Botswana Report from Gaborone. But these are some of the top stories that we are looking at. We start off with some breaking news. Morocco has been crowned AFCON champions after CAF has overturned the final result, which had Senegal winning. Tinubu promises stronger security response after Maiduguri blasts. Israel reports killing senior Iranian figures as war intensifies. Botswana rejects claims of U.S. military base at Thebephatshwa. Zimbabwe opposition appeals against constitutional amendment plan. Mr. Price targets additional foreign expansion after Europe entry. And Ethiopia attracts $18.6 billion as investment destination grows. DSTV2 at 5, GoTV 25, oneup2.com, Network Media Hub, ntvafrica.my.na, as well as NTV Africa on YouTube are precisely where you can watch the show. My name is Ashwin Bedi. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
All right, you're still with Africa Good Morning. Let's get into that breaking news story. Morocco have officially been crowned AFCON champions after the Confederation of African Football overturned the result of the final in a dramatic late decision. In a statement released last night, CAF confirmed that Senegal forfeited the match, leading to a 3-0 victory being awarded to Morocco. The ruling follows a post-match review process, though CAF has not yet publicly detailed the full circumstances behind the forfeiture. The decision brings a controversial and unexpected end to the tournament, with the original results now nullified. Morocco, who had mounted a strong campaign throughout the competition, now secure the title through administrative decision rather than on-field conclusion. Meanwhile, Senegal's campaign ends in disappointment, with the forfeiture casting a shadow over what had been a fiercely contested final. The announcement is expected to spark widespread reaction across the football world, with fans, analysts and stakeholders awaiting further clarification from CAF on the events that led to such a significant ruling. Now, we know there's already been an uproar on social media. Senegal does plan to appeal this decision. Part of the reason is that the referee's supreme authority cannot be questioned if the referee has not blown the final whistle. These are decisions that CAF has made before. And what was a big issue is that they were saying Morocco left the field, but Morocco did not leave the grounds. And we know that in the CAF laws, it says only when you leave the grounds is the match forfeited, not necessarily the field. So we're going to be paying attention to this. A lot of Africa feels like the game was won on the field, especially considering that Morocco had a penalty and an opportunity to win the game. And one wonders if Morocco had scored that goal, if there would be an appeal at all. We now move over to Nigeria, where the President Bola Tinubu has pledged intensified security operations following deadly attacks in Maiduguri. In a message posted on his official X page, Tinubu expressed condolences to victims and their families, saying he mourns those who lost their lives, sympathizes with the injured, and stands in solidarity with the people of Borno. He said that the government would increase efforts to dismantle armed groups and praised troops for repelling coordinated assaults on military positions in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State. Additional military equipment and operational support have been approved, and top security officials have been ordered to relocate to Maiduguri to oversee the response. Emergency agencies have been mobilized to assist victims. The attacks occurred on Monday evening, targeting a market, a post office vicinity, and the entrance to a teaching hospital. At least 23 people were killed. Now, Israel says that it has killed two of Iran's most senior figures in overnight strikes, marking a significant escalation in the conflict. Defense Minister Israel Katz claims top security official Ali Larjani and Basij militia chief Gholam Reza Soleimani were eliminated. Iranian state media has not confirmed the deaths. Iranian outlets released a handwritten condolence letter from Larijani on Tuesday, raising questions about the claims. Larijani is a former parliamentary speaker and advisor on nuclear strategy. Soleimani led the Basij militia, which has been accused of suppressing protests and is sanctioned by the US and EU. The reported killings come weeks after the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in an airstrike at the start of the war. Israel says it has conducted wide-scale strikes across Tehran and increased attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran has in turn launched missiles towards Tel Aviv, while Hezbollah has targeted northern Israel, continuing exchanges between all sides. Now we swing over to Botswana in a story that Rorisang Mogojwe will explain further. The government of Botswana has denied claims that it hosts a United States military base at Thebephatshwa Air Base, describing the reports as misinformation. Authorities reaffirmed that the facility is fully owned, operated, and controlled by the Botswana Defence Force. In a statement signed by Tudueto Mokhosi, Director of Public Service Government Communications, the government confirmed the base is a sovereign military installation. The facility supports emergency response capabilities, regional peacekeeping missions, and operational readiness of armed forces. The statement urged media organizations and political actors to verify information before making claims about the country's defense posture, and warned that misinformation could create tension among citizens and neighboring states. Botswana's clarification comes amid increasing global competition for military access in Africa. The country emphasized it remains committed to diplomatic relations while safeguarding sovereignty. Officials reiterated that discussions about national security should be based on verified facts and that Botswana continues to support regional cooperation, dialogue, and transparency. Now we end our top stories in Zimbabwe, where the Defend the Constitution platform has escalated opposition to a constitutional amendment bill seeking to extend the tenure of the presidency and parliament by appealing to international organizations. The move comes as parliament prepares for public hearings on the bill later this month, increasing political tensions. Opposition figures allege intimidation and repression as authorities respond to their efforts by lobby constituencies against the bill affecting President Emmerson Mnangagwa's term. Speaking in Harare, convener Jameson Timber said the group had written to the United Nations, the African Union, and the Southern African Development Community. He said the intention is to ensure Zimbabwe's constitutional process aligns with democratic commitments. ZANU-PF maintains a referendum is unnecessary, while the opposition insists on a national vote. The platform has launched a petition aiming for 1 million signatures under the banner 1 million voices for the Constitution. Timber stated that any fundamental constitutional change must return to the people through a referendum. Now, Jameson Timber also said Police Commissioner Stephen Mutamba and Speaker of Parliament Jacob Mudenda have ignored his letter calling for state institutions to facilitate public debate on the controversial Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3.
On the 4th of March 2026, I wrote to the Commissioner General of Police expressing concern over this matter and requesting an urgent meeting. I also wrote to the Speaker of Parliament and the President of the Senate, imploring them to ensure that state institutions facilitate public debate during this constitutionally mandated 90-day consultation period. To date, I have not been favored with the courtesy of a response by either the police or the presiding officers of Parliament. What has become apparent is that this amendment bill belongs only to one political party. Only that party is allowed to meet and debate it. The rest of us have effectively been stripped of our citizenship and its attended constitutional rights. The question that therefore arises is simple. What options remain for citizens when their constitutional rights and freedoms are denied? This question must be answered today or tomorrow, but answered nonetheless. As the DCP, we have also listened to Cabinet, to each Cabinet member, and to members of Parliament, and to the Speaker, raising concerns about the intention to amend the Constitution without retaining the question of term extensions to the people through a referendum. We have made the position clear. The Constitution belongs to the people.
We'll be getting more detail with regards to Constitution Amendment Bill number 3, which is being declared unconstitutional by opposition parties and leaders alike. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Let's have a look at the weather before Rorisang Mogojwe says Dumelang from Botswana. In a world where politicians promise the moon and deliver potholes, where democracy sometimes arrives in camouflage and ballots often look like formalities, one show dares to laugh with Africa, at Africa, and sometimes for Africa. This is Second Take, your weekly dose of political satire with an African soul and a global edge. From coups disguised as press briefings to ministers moonwalking past accountability, we serve the real news with sharper writing. Each week we bring you the TikTok of the week because sometimes the revolution is vertical, and the heartwarming moment of the week to remind us that not everything is burning. We also sit down with the bold, the brilliant, and the brave, voices that question power, stir thought, and spark laughter. Because when the headlines are wild, the leaders are louder, and the truth is lost in translation, we all need a second take. All right, it's time for us to talk to Rorisang Mogojwe as she delivers the Botswana Report. Dumelang, Rorisang.
A very good morning to you, Ashwin. Thank you so much for having me, Dumelang. It's always a pleasure to be here on Africa Good Morning.
It's good to have you on the show. Now, Rorisang, unemployment is closing into the 30% range in Botswana as there has been some significant strain in the labor market.
The national unemployment rate has risen to 21%, But the main cause for concern is really the youth unemployment rate, which has shown to be progressively rising and has shot up in the last decade, with nearly 3 in 10 young people unable to find work. Now, this was revealed by the Minister of Finance, Thebephatshwa, who was presenting results of the Botswana multi-topic household survey of 2024-2025, which was carried out by Statistics Botswana. This report shows unemployment among those aged 15 to 35 rose from 25.1% in 2015-2016 to 28.9% in 2024-25, which signals what officials describe as a growing structural crisis in the labor market. Young women remain the most affected, with an unemployment rate of 30.7% compared to 27.2% for young men, which highlights persisting gender disparities in the labor market. Now, these figures come as the youth labor force continues to grow, increasing by 8.3% for that period. However, the job creation space has really failed to keep pace, and overall unemployment, like I said, has risen to 21% from 17.6% over that very same period. Now, the survey was conducted between November 2024 and November 2025, and it provides a broad snapshot of Botswana's socio-economic conditions, and Statistician General Kaufelo Lekobane says these findings will help guide policy as well as economic reforms in the country.
All right, Rorisang, now please tell us more about the story that we did touch on in our top stories. Botswana's government has rejected the claims of a U.S. military base being in the country.
The government of Botswana has come out to deny claims that Botswana hosts a U.S. military base, saying that any such claims are false and describes them as misinformation. Now, this clarification follows growing speculation of foreign military presence in the country, especially as the U.S.-Israel-Iran war continues. Now, the government spokesperson Rorisang Mogojwe issued a statement explaining that the Thebephatswa air base in the country is actually a sovereign facility owned and operated by the Botswana Defense Force and serves strictly national interests, such as emergency response, peacekeeping, as well as humanitarian support. She said that any assertions suggesting that the U.S. owns a military base in Botswana are false, and has urged any such discussions about national security to be based or to be grounded in verified facts. Now, the U.S. Embassy in Botswana has also previously come out to deny these claims, as well as President Duma Boko, who was engaging with the media last week, actually reiterated the same sentiment, saying that no such base exists. While the government does say that Botswana has strong bilateral relations with the U.S. as well as other partners, and however, it does remain committed to regional cooperation as well as dialogue and mutual respect.
All right, Rorisang, now as we close off, tell us about the Absa Kids Marathon.
So what started out as a simple children's race has now culminated into 5 years of a platform that offers youth and children fitness as well as healthy living, combined with a lot of fun. Now, alongside these races, participants get to enjoy a range of fun and educational activities, which have since created an experience that is both memorable for the young ones. Now, the co-founder, Mohamed says that each participant receives race kits and medals, and families benefit from interactive experiences which are designed to encourage children to embrace active and healthy lifestyles. The partnership with Absa Bank has also allowed the event to expand its reach and draw more young participants as well as families each year. And from a local initiative, this marathon has now grown into a nationwide celebration of sports, wellness, and youth potential, as it currently takes place across many parts of the country, not just in the capital city of Gaborone, but also has expanded to Jwaneng, Maun, Gauteng, as well as other areas in the country. Now, this year, organizers anticipate that the turnout will be even larger and will be the most vibrant, which will feature energetic races, entertainment, as well as opportunities for families to celebrate fitness together.
Absolutely lovely scenes there. It's always good to have you on Africa. Good morning, Rorisang.
That was all from me with the Botswana Report. Let's meet again next week. Same time, same place, right here on Africa. Good morning.
Now we get into economic news. South African retailer Mr. Price could enter one more international market following its expansion into Europe, its chairman said yesterday. The group expects to close its purchase of German-based discount retailer NKD Group this month, enabling entry into Central and Eastern Europe. Chairman Nigel Payne told investors the board had narrowed offshore mergers and acquisitions focus to 2 regions after reviewing global opportunities. He described Central and Eastern Europe as the priority growth platform over the next 10 to 20 years, with potential to expand into Southern Europe. CEO Mark Blair said another territory had been identified as highly attractive, but emphasized expansion would only proceed if the conditions are right. Now, Ethiopia has emerged as Africa's second largest destination for foreign direct investment, attracting $18.6 billion over 5 years. Ethiopian Investment Commissioner Zeleke Temesgen says the country recorded $4 billion in inflows during the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, a 22.7% increase. China remains the leading investment partner, accounting for around 60% of projects, particularly in manufacturing and services. The growth follows reforms opening sectors such as retail, wholesale, import and export to foreign participation. Authorities have also introduced regulations allowing foreign nationals to own residential property. Over 5 years, 1,477 investment permits were issued. All right, those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning. Tomorrow we return with Ari Hochad delivering the South Africa Report, whilst we'll go through Africa's top stories as always. DSTV 2 at 5, GoTV 25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub, NTV Africa on YouTube, as well as ntvafrica.my.na are precisely where you can watch the show. For now, we say Swerazha Kanaka as we leave you with the indicators.